OSHA Standard 1910.333 addresses general safety-related work practices. It mandates that these practices must be implemented to prevent electric shock or other injuries that could arise from either direct or indirect electrical contact. This applies when work is being conducted near or on equipment or circuits that are, or may be, energized. The crucial aspect of this standard is that the specific safety-related work practices must align with the nature and the extent of the electrical hazards present. This means a thorough assessment of the potential risks is paramount before commencing any electrical work. The assessment should identify the voltage levels, potential fault currents, proximity to energized parts, and any other factors that could contribute to an electrical incident. Based on this assessment, appropriate safety-related work practices can then be selected and implemented. Some of these practices include energizing equipment whenever possible. Before starting work on electrical equipment or circuits, the first and foremost step is to de-energize and tag out the system. This involves disconnecting the power supply, locking the disconnect switch or circuit breaker in the off position, and attaching a tag to the disconnect means indicating that the equipment is out of service and should not be energized. This ensures that the equipment remains de-energized while work is being performed. Secondly, if de-energizing is not feasible, using insulated tools and equipment is critical. When working on or near energized equipment, always use tools and equipment that are specifically designed and rated for the voltage levels involved. These tools are typically insulated with non-conductive materials to prevent electrical current from flowing through the worker's body. Regular inspection of insulated tools is essential to ensure that the insulation is intact and free from damage. Thirdly, wearing appropriate personal protective equipment, or PPE, is necessary. This includes items such as rubber insulating gloves, sleeves, and other protective clothing that are rated for the voltage levels to which the worker may be exposed. PPE acts as a barrier between the worker and energized parts, minimizing the risk of electric shock or burns. Like insulated tools, PPE should be regularly inspected and tested to ensure its effectiveness. Fourthly, maintaining a safe working distance is critical. OSHA standards specify minimum approach distances for qualified employees working near energized parts. These distances vary depending on the voltage level and are intended to provide a buffer zone to prevent accidental contact with energized conductors or equipment. Workers should be trained to recognize and maintain these safe distances at all times. Fifthly, implementing proper grounding techniques is important. Grounding provides a low resistance path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to trip over current protection devices and to energize the circuit in the event of a fault. Proper grounding also helps to minimize the risk of electric shock by reducing the voltage potential between conductive surfaces. Sixthly, using barriers and guarding is helpful. Barriers and guarding can be used to isolate energized parts and prevent accidental contact by workers or equipment. These measures are particularly important in areas where there is a high risk of electrical hazards. Seventhly, providing adequate training is absolutely essential. Workers who perform electrical work must be properly trained in the recognition and avoidance of electrical hazards. This training should cover topics such as electrical safety standards, safe work practices, the use of PPE, and emergency procedures. Regular refresher training should be provided to ensure that workers remain competent in these areas. Eighthly, conducting regular safety audits is crucial. Regular safety audits should be conducted to identify potential electrical hazards and ensure that safety-related work practices are being followed. These audits should be performed by qualified individuals and should include a review of equipment, procedures, and training programs. Ninthly, having emergency procedures in place is important. Emergency procedures should be established for responding to electrical incidents, such as electric shock or fires. These procedures should include instructions for providing first aid, contacting emergency services, and evacuating the area if necessary. All workers should be familiar with these procedures and should know how to respond in an emergency. And tenthly, maintaining accurate documentation is necessary. Accurate documentation of electrical work is essential for tracking and managing electrical safety. This documentation should include records of equipment inspections, training programs, safety audits, and incident investigations. This documentation can be used to identify trends, track progress, and improve electrical safety performance. In summary, OSHA Standard 1910.333 emphasizes the importance of implementing safety-related work practices to prevent electrical injuries. These practices should be tailored to the specific hazards present and should include measures such as energizing equipment, using insulated tools and equipment, wearing appropriate PPE, maintaining safe working distances, implementing proper grounding techniques, using barriers and guarding, providing adequate training, conducting regular safety audits, having emergency procedures in place, and maintaining accurate documentation. By following these guidelines, employers can create a safer working environment and protect their employees from the hazards of electricity.